That's one of our hens. She crows like a rooster. She also lays really soft eggs. I think she thinks she's a rooster. We call her Cheryl Crow. She's one of our lavender Orpingtons. I also know that there are so many different varieties of kiwi vines out there, and we've heard all about them. Unfortunately, none exactly like ours. Since posting those videos 2 years ago, I have seen kiwis for sale around here everywhere. They are labeled all different types and varieties. The label of the vines that we purchased said that they were self-fertile Arctic Kiwi, with the name underneath as Actinidia Arguta Issai. However, I am fairly certain these are not an Arctic variety at all. Hi friends, my name is Crystal. This is my daughter Lila, and we are standing outside near our kiwi berry vines. We live in Connecticut, which is USDA Grow Zone 6A or B, depending on what map you look at. Sometimes it says 6A, sometimes it says 6B, so it just depends. But it doesn't really matter too much. We planted these kiwi berry vines in 2021, and if you're interested in kind of the backstory about them, please check out our other videos. We live on 3.3 acres on a nature preserve, and we are trying to plant as many different varieties of fruit and vegetables as we can, especially ones that'll come back year after year for us. Lots of perennials, lots of trees. So we just like growing a lot of different things. I have a self-fertile cherry tree that I just harvested cherries off of. We have a couple pear trees, apple trees. We just bought some almond trees. We just share all the different experiences that we have. We're in no way experts or anything. We're kind of using this as like a growing diary. We use it as a reference, and maybe somebody will find it helpful, but we are more than happy to share our experience with you and answer any questions that we are able to based on our experience. Do you need to go lay down? Okay, let's go lay down. All right, so Lila's inside now for a little bit. I have the baby monitor here. She's playing with the kids, and I just gave the chickens some snacks so that they'll quiet down just a little bit over here. So it is June. It is actually the first day of summer, so it's June 21st, 2023. So let's get into where we got these kiwi vines and how we started them. So in 2021, when we saw these kiwi berry vines for sale at a local nursery, we got super excited, and I ordered 2 plants. We had 2 of these kiwi vines delivered, along with other fruit trees that we've planted on our property the same year. At the time, they were around $35. The nursery that we love getting our fruit trees from typically sells them at fruiting age, so we can expect to see fruit on them within the next year or 2 after we plant them. The label of the vines that we purchased said that they were self-fertile Arctic Kiwi, with the name underneath as Actinidia Arguta Issai. However, I am fairly certain these are not an Arctic variety at all. I do believe these are a hardy kiwi called Actinidia Arguta Issai. The features on the back say that the vine has purplish new growth, but mine do not have that. They do have small white flowers, and for sure appears to not need a male pollinator. And the rest of the description appears accurate. They're rapid growing, very hardy, and tolerant of poor soil conditions. But underneath where it says the bloom and fruit is on 1-year-old wood, that doesn't really line up too much. A lot of the blooms and fruit are coming off of the established wood on the vines, but we also have a bunch on the new growth as well. Since posting those videos 2 years ago, I have seen kiwis for sale around here everywhere. They are labeled all different types and varieties, and not many are labeled self-fertile that I can remember. The bare roots at Home Depot just say prolific, while another local garden center where we just purchased our almond trees from says that they sell a September Sun hardy kiwi. And it's actually the same brand of plants that our kiwis were labeled as. Now I'm just going to go over the questions and comments that we've gotten, messages and things about our kiwi vines over the past couple of years on different videos we've posted. For the variety of kiwi vines that we have, do we need a male pollinator in order to get berries on them? No. Here is the example. These are both female self-fertile kiwi berry vines that are producing kiwi berries. What about the trellis? We have a cattle panel trellis here. I will post the video here about how I put it in. But this is extremely rocky over here. In fact, I have it over an enormous boulder right there. And so I buried the T-posts as far down as I could because that's the anchor for this cattle panel. It's really sturdy. We have another cattle panel over here, which I can show a better picture of. and that is not in as well. It's extremely rocky over there, and I was not able to get the T-post in it nearly as deep as I was over here. So when you touch it, it does rock back and forth a little bit. But we had green beans, morning glory flowers, loofahs growing, and it stayed up just fine through the tropical storms, the winds, rain, everything. That's not to say it will in the future. I would like to anchor it down a little bit better than it is right now, but for now it's working out okay. This one, as far as it being able to handle the weight of all of the kiwis that are going to be on it, I think it'll be fine with the amount that we're going to be getting. Steve and I were just talking about adding 2 more cattle panels on either side with a 2-foot gap in between. So we might be adding even more, because as you can see over here, there's a lot more vines growing, and the more vines that we allow to grow, the more kiwi berries we'll get. Are we planning on getting a male pollinator? I don't think so, but we might. When and how do we prune our kiwi berry vines? In wintertime, when they're dormant, I come through and I just cut off any growth that is going in directions that I don't want it to. For example, we have the deer fencing on the other side of it, and it's starting to weave itself through. When we put a net over these, I'm gonna go through and actually trim some of the vines because I don't want it going into the other garden. They are extremely aggressive growers. They can handle a heavy pruning. Are we going to be propagating them? I'm working on it. So I have tried and failed with winter cuttings of these vines. A couple of years ago, I took the winter cuttings and I tried to propagate them. I successfully got them to root in water, but when I transplanted them into soil, I must not have watered it enough or something, but they ended up dying and it didn't work out. This year I've taken spring cuttings. I'm working on it right now. Once that project is done, I'll share that entire video with you so you can see how I did it, what worked, what didn't work. I kind of want to show you the different stages of these kiwi vines, like what they look like at different times of the year. We're gonna start with how they looked in the springtime of last year. They start to wake up from dormancy in about March or April here, and they grow new vines and leaves and shoots, and that's when we start to see the blooms of where all the flowers are going to be and potentially the kiwi berries. And last year was the first year that we actually saw kiwi berry flowers. There wasn't a lot, not nearly as much as this year, but it was the first year they were actually producing, and unfortunately once they did start producing, the birds got to them. Over winter time, these vines go dormant and all the leaves fall off. That is when we prune them, and they like to be pruned. They are aggressive growers and they really do well with a heavy pruning. So I gave them a serious haircut a little bit later because I had my daughter in December. I can't remember the exact month, maybe in February I came out here and did it. And then come again March, April, and they start to wake up again. They start to grow new vines and shoots off the sides of their established vines and new leaves. Towards the end of May, early June, all the flowers started to bloom. It was beautiful in there just up until about a week or so ago. And now this is how they look today. The petals are starting to fall off of all the flowers. I ordered more netting. The entire cattle panel trellis I'm going to be putting a net on to hopefully prevent birds from taking all of our precious kiwi berries this year, so I can share with you what that's like and I can hopefully taste it. Hopefully we like them because we haven't tried them yet, and after all of this, to taste them and then not like them will be a nightmare, but it is what it is. So this is how they look today, and I'm so excited. Probably over the next day or so we will get a net over here and I can show you what that looks like when it's done. That's how they look right now that this is our third year with them. Is it our third year? Second year. We had them in 2021, 2022, and here we are in 2023. We're in our third year with these kiwi berry vines, and I'm just going to quickly go through what we know about them. We planted ours in 2021 and we had purchased them from a local garden nursery nearby. The two separate plants that I have are both self-fertile and female vines. With the Issai hardy kiwi, it isn't necessary to have a male pollinator, and we don't have one, and we're getting fruit on it. Our kiwi berry flowers are white. They are all white. There is no pink, nothing. They're just completely white flowers. The leaves on our vines, as you can see here, are completely green. They're not variegated. There's no color variations on them. There's no white, there's no pink, they are just completely green. And the vines themselves produce new vines. Those are green too, they're not red. The established vines, so once the vines are in place for a while and they don't get pruned, they turn brown, gray, and they become very wood-like. For the most part, our vines are completely low maintenance. I did add a soil acidifier when I planted them over here, but this is just regular clay-ish topsoil over on this end, very rocky terrain where I planted them, and they're doing just fine. This year I did fertilize them with the berry tone when I did all of my other fruit, just because I had it out and I figured, what does it hurt? So I did throw some berry tone on there this year. So we don't have another situation like we did last year where the birds got to all of the kiwi berries before we could. I'm going to be putting a net over the entire cattle panel trellis. So if you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps us out a lot. We just want to spread the information that we have about these. I also know that there are so many different varieties of kiwi vines out there, and we've heard all about them. Unfortunately, none exactly like ours. Hopefully when we get a harvest off of these, I will be doing a whole other video update. So if you have any questions or comments you would like to share, please let us know, because not only may we find it helpful, but somebody else might find it helpful too. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.